You're listening to WTIM, your information station. Time now for your expanded local news. I'm Reed Kamai. Local eateries got a refresher on food safety at the Christian County Health Department's 4th annual Food Safety Workshop. During this workshop, owners and upper-level staff of various local restaurants and establishments that handle food met at the University of Illinois Extension office in Taylorville to learn more about different types of emergencies, foodborne illness, and safety procedures. Director of Environmental Health Joe Torres spoke to Heart Media Group at the workshop and said that a big factor in putting these workshops together is that the overwhelming list of rules and regulations that CCHD uses to assess establishments may not be fully known by local restaurant owners. Additionally, some restaurant owners may not be fully aware of certain illnesses or what to do in the event of an emergency.
So we have a bunch of business owners. So I think the big thing is that we want to make sure that the community, whoever's running restaurants, is well informed on food safety. A lot of food owners are not familiar with the food code, which is what we use to do our inspections. So there's a lot of rules and regulations that maybe they're not aware of. They may keep experiencing the same violations, and this is a good time for them to come out and try to figure out how they can prevent it. So today we are going to be talking about the big six, so foodborne illness, the ones that can get you sick. We have somebody talking about active managerial control and record keeping, stuff that managers should be doing to have more of a proactive approach to violations instead of a reactive, instead of us telling them, hey, this is wrong, they should spot it before we get there. I'm going to be going over the top 10 violations that we saw in 2025. And then we have somebody talking about emergency preparedness, what to do like in case there's a boil order, in case there's a fire, what happens when the power goes out.
One of the biggest lessons was on what the CCHD calls the Big Six. The Big Six is made up of the 6 foodborne illnesses that restaurants typically see. The illnesses that make up the Big Six are Shiga toxin-producing E. coli, or STEC, non-typhoidal salmonella, Salmonella typhi, Shigella, hepatitis A, and norovirus. Also discussed was what to do in the event of an emergency, such as a boil order, flood, medical emergency, power outage, or fire. For more information on the Christian County Health Department, go to cchdil.org. Memorial Health is hosting kickoff parties that are set to take place April 30th for their upcoming May Walking Challenge. Taylorville, Decatur, Springfield, Jacksonville, and Lincoln locations will host these events ahead of the free Memorial Health Mindful Miles Walking Challenge that runs through May. Participants can sign up for the free walking challenge using the Pacer app on their phone. Each Memorial Health hospital is a hub for the walking challenges with individual kickoff parties. And participants who walk 50 miles or more during May will receive a free Mindful Miles t-shirt. Details on the kickoff parties and registration are available on this story on our website, TaylorvilleDailyNews.com. Taylorville Community Credit Union has announced the winners of its 12th annual Stop, Shop, Vote scholarship program, awarding $1,000 each to 8 graduating seniors from 4 area high schools. 2 students from Pana High School, Grace Lynn Elliott and Kaylee Kuhn, were among this year's recipients. Elliott plans to study criminology and criminal justice at Southern Illinois University, while Kuhn will begin at Lakeland College before transferring to Eastern Illinois University to pursue a bachelor's degree in education. TCCU President Will Perkins said the credit union is proud to support local students as they continue their education. He also thanked community members and local businesses for their participation in the program, which invites residents to stop, shop, and vote for student candidates. In Pana alone, 21 businesses took part in the initiative, generating nearly 7,000 votes. The program is designed not only to provide scholarships, but also to encourage residents to support local businesses. Registration for next year's scholarship program will open in August and run through October 9th. Eligible high school seniors planning to continue their education can register through TCCU. Founded in 1956, Taylorville Community Credit Union serves residents in Christian, Shelby, and Montgomery counties and operates as a not-for-profit financial cooperative. More information on TCCU can be found at tccu.org. Dates are now set for the summer farmers markets in Assumption and Moequa. They are scheduled for June 13th and 27th, July 11th and 25th, September 12th and 26th, and October 10th and 24th, each from 9 to 11 in the morning. Each month's first farmers market day will take place in Assumption, with the latter one headed to Moequa. This is the second year with this system of alternation between the two towns. Assumption Community Pride, which organizes the farmers markets, hopes for an even greater turnout this year than last year. They are also holding a fundraiser tomorrow for the farmers market efforts. Derek Page is the president of Assumption Community Pride. He says live music and a taco truck will be present at every farmers market.
There at the beginning, we get quite a few. And then, like in July, sometimes during the heat, a lot of people won't kind of come out because, if they got their baked goods, they don't want them getting melted, per se. So weather plays a factor. I mean, if it's going to rain, we're not going to get that many people, of course. We try to cancel it well enough in advance before the rain comes. So it ranges between 10 to 20.
The amount of space that you have, I mean, I know in Assumption, right, you've got that whole road.
Yeah.
Does it kind of work for that?
It does.
Okay.
Yeah, it really does. It's been a great thing to have on it. And we've kind of tested it in other locations to kind of maybe see, like maybe leave Main, Chestnut Street kind of open. And then we put it on a side street. Well, it kind of didn't work because then you got more people traipsing into the grass. And we do this in the morning. So if we have a really high humid morning, then the grass is wet. So we just kind of stuck it out onto the street, and it's worked out really well.
Assumption Community Pride is holding a quarter auction to raise money for both the farmers market and scholarships for local high school students. It will take place tomorrow at 6 at the 1905 Brewing Company.
And exactly what a quarter auction is, I never really heard of it until the ladies that manage the farmers market kind of came up with this idea. But it is like you purchase a paddle, and then you'll be given a list of items for bidding. Each item has been given a quarter value. So let's say example, like a candle could be worth 1 quarter, beef sticks could be worth 2 quarters. The max amount would be for 4 quarters. When the item comes up, you decide how much you want to put in the way of quarters onto that item. So it's still kind of like you're still bidding with dollars. It's just in the quarter realm.
Okay.
And so the paddles will be numbered, and once everybody has a paddle number, you'll be holding them up when an item comes up to win. So it's something very unique. So I'm kind of interested to see how it goes because I've never been to one of these before. I guess it's kind of like a little bit of a new trend. So we'll see how it goes. But it's a great fundraiser for the farmers market. Like I said, for scholarships to give out to high school students going into college.
Away from the farmers market, 2 new businesses have opened in Assumption. One of them is J&R Diesel, a truck repair shop.
2 guys got together. They've always been working with diesel trucks. And so they got together, opened up a business, and it's really kind of looks like it's been kind of taken off on it. There's been quite a demand from what I've been told by these guys about work on diesel trucks. So glad to have somebody in Assumption that's able to do that. They also do other things on regular vehicles as well. So just because you have if you don't have a diesel truck, they can still go in there, rotate your tires, do an oil change, fix, other little common elements that may go out. So definitely worth a shot. J&R Diesel is the name of that.
The other new business is J&J Diner, which has previously operated as a food truck. In fact, for that reason, combined with the lengthy remodel of their new space, they are still using the food truck to prepare food while serving customers in the main dining space.
They've already come in and they fixed up the old Subway, and then also when the Friendly Bar went out of business, they've bought that business as well. So basically they're making one big giant restaurant in there, and they serve some great foods there. They serve smash burgers, so you can get any type of hamburger that you can really think of. They get tenderloins, chicken strips, chicken sandwiches, sloppy joes. They got a kids menu as well. You can even get some funnel cake, fries. Typically they're open in the lunchtime and in the dinner hour as well. They've kind of been doing a little bit of a test to kind of see the demand for the dinner times. So kind of watch their Facebook page.
In another local development, Page reports that there has been a sale on the first of 16 lots in the Baxmeyer subdivision. He hopes it can lead to more action in that area.
It's a great start. So the closing is going to be happening at the end of the month. But yes, one lot has sold. It has sold lot number 7 out of the 16 that we have. So it's going to be a developer, and he's going to be building a spec house. So eventually, I think there's going to be some economic development in the county, I feel. And I think this is a great start to kind of get this rolling. And so we're happy to see that somebody's going to be out there building. Hopefully by later in this year, there'll be another house that will be built. I know I've talked with a developer out of Bethany, and they've mentioned about, if they can get a house sold in Findlay, then they'll be more than happy to build a house in Assumption. So hopefully we can kind of start getting this stuff rolling. Granted, the economy wasn't the best when we kind of started this. Nobody really predicted what things were going to take off in late 20 to 21 in the rate of inflation, and now with gas prices being the way that they are.
More information on Assumption Community Pride is available at their Facebook page. Derek Page appeared as a guest on the WTIM morning show. And now, a word from First National Bank in Taylorville.
At First National Bank in Taylorville, just west of the square, we've spent 70 years being your local bank. The bank where relationships matter, because we've been part of this community for generations. I'm President Jared Beckham. Life moves fast. Families grow, businesses change, even banks come and go. But one thing stays the same. First National Bank in Taylorville has been here for you and will be here for the next generation too. Serving Taylorville for 70 years, First National Bank in Taylorville. First every time, member FDIC.
Shelby Electric Cooperative is highlighting the method with which they install their fiber connection service. It comes as the cooperative's subsidiary Shelby Fiber works to expand this more modern offering. Some residents in Macon County are getting an early taste of fiber, while Shelby Fiber targets Christian and Shelby counties as the next areas in which to expand. Dustin Tice is a fiber technician with Shelby Electric Cooperative. He says there is a 3-step installation process involving a network device interface, a drop, and an optic network terminal.
After the members have reached out to the office to kind of, we'll say, get the ball rolling to get them internet service, we'll set up a meet and greet basically with me or Chance Hinton or one of our other installers. We'll go out and meet with them, and we install a small gray box on the outside of the house, which is called our NID. It stands for Network Interface Device. And what that does is it becomes essentially the splice point for us. So we have a drop crew that'll come in, which is step 2, and they'll go from the road, whether it be an OFDC terminal that's located out on their utility pole or a handhold that's in place in their yard. And that NID gives them a place for the drop to go from point A to point B, so they know where they're headed at. And then once we get the drop in place, then we can come in and do the install. So, and then the install goes from the NID into the ONT, which is the optical network interface terminal, and the router. So, and then that's when they would actually have internet service then to the home.
Technicians can complete the physical installation in a single day. The timeline between the customer's initial indication of interest and the installation can take a few weeks.
So the NID placement normally is a half hour or so, depending on, we like to get a lay of the land with the house, where things are at in the house and how we're going to get that placed in the right spot. The drop crew come in, depending, it normally takes them a couple hours to get the drop done. And then the install will take anywhere from an hour to 2 hours, depending on how long the wire run goes from getting the fiber into the house. But with each of those steps, there's everything else that has to be involved in there. Obviously, you've got to call in Julie locates to dig or do any kind of buried work in there, things like that. So from point A to point B, we really like to try to stay under 2 weeks once this all gets going.
Media and Public Relations Vice President Kevin Burnson says those who are interested in receiving fiber service from Shelby Fiber can sign up on shelbyelectric.coop. He emphasizes doing so whether or not the service is currently available in the potential customer's area.
Yeah, it's an awesome process. But one thing a person can do is they can go to shelbyfiber.coop, shelbyfiber.coop. there's a start new service. Now, whether we are in the area yet or not, you can still fill out the form, and it's important for us to have you in the system because it lets us know where to go next or who we need to contact for the drops and the NID placement and the installation. You can also call us 217-774-2323, and Tiffany or Kayla will help you out. The form will have, it'll say we're serving your area now. And there's 3 or 4 steps to that process, or it'll tell you not serving you just yet, but you still want to continue and get your name into the system.
The cooperative began serving Macon County thanks to a grant the county received. Shelby Electric Cooperative hopes similar situations play out in other counties.
We've got a few customers actually. Lit is the term that we like to use in that. So we've got about 12 customers on right now that we've been testing, working through all the bugs, making sure everything's up and running good before we really roll out the big product across Macon County and then stretch out across our entire service territory eventually. We've got a couple crews in right now. They're doing some construction work out in Shelby County, some in Christian County. So we're starting to branch out, but Macon County was the starting point.
And people will see, if they're driving around through the country, they'll see poles laying down because we're replacing all the poles. We're trying to meet a height requirement to allow farmers to continue to farm. So we're raising the height of our pole to get the utility lines through, and then obviously the communication lines, and there's still room for the farmers to get in. So people can start to see when you start seeing the crews out changing poles out, and you're driving on the road and you're wondering why there's a bunch of poles laying out there, that means that we're coming to get the infrastructure set up for fiber.
More information on Shelby Electric Cooperative and Shelby Fiber is available at shelbyfiber.coop or by calling 217-777-2323. Kevin Birdson and Dustin Tice appeared as guests on the WTIM Morning Show. The Better Business Bureau is warning the public to avoid storm repair scams. Be cautious of storm chasers who seek cash up front in the aftermath of severe weather, says scam investigator Don O'Brien. Again, for certified businesses, residents can check bbb.org for customer reviews and to determine a company's legitimacy. Now to obituaries, which can be found at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com. 97-year-old Rita Mae Sloan of Morrisonville died last Friday. Visitation is today from 5:30 till 8 at Casey Hall in Morrisonville. The funeral service is, visitation is today from 12 till 4 at Casey Hall in Morrisonville. A second visitation is tomorrow, also at Casey Hall in Morrisonville from 5:30 to 8. The funeral service is Saturday at 10 at St. Maurice Catholic Church in Morrisonville. Burial will be at St. Maurice Catholic Cemetery. Arrangements are being handled by a Sally Funeral Home in Morrisonville. 73-year-old Susan C. Sue Boggs of Blue Mound died on Monday. A gathering will take place tomorrow from 4 till 6 at Blue Mound Civic Center in Blue Mound. Cremation rites have been accorded. Arrangements are being handled by McClure Funeral Home and Cremation Services in Taylorville. And 79-year-old Gary L. Carr of Bonita Spring, Florida, died March 27th. A memorial service will take place June 27th at 2 at Blue Mound Civic Center in Blue Mound. Burial will be at Hall Cemetery. Arrangements are being handled by McClure Funeral Home and Cremation Services in Taylorville. It is currently fair and 59 degrees. We're expecting sunny skies today with a high near 81. Winds could gust as high as 29 miles per hour. Tonight, a chance of showers and thunderstorms, partly cloudy otherwise with a low around 61. Get local news anytime at Taylorville Daily News.